enforcing the ATF recommendations would destroy his business. He said he would not issue a public notice unless it indicated the so-called recommendations were issued by the Austin police and ATF. And the ATF said, yes, that's good, do that. And this has now happened. And so he decided to stand up, so HEB called him this morning and said it's over. Now, Austin police, this is illegal. What the ATF did violates, there's no statutes to do this, no statutory authority. It's clearly racketeering. It's clearly corruption. It's clearly they've damaged him financially. It's clearly color of law, civil rights violation. I mean, they have really done it. But if they get away with it, the precedent is set. And what they do is they set up stings and fake things. They harass gun shops and gun shows out of business everywhere. Tennessee's moving to do the same thing. But this is without a law, without anything. So let's go to Darwin Boedecker to break down, recap what happened, and then now the latest developments. And KVUE, you talked to them this morning. They're going over to interview the Austin Police Department. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I got a call from Andrew, the manager of the North Austin Event Center yesterday, and he said that he got a phone call from HEB saying that our shows were over. So due to the arrest this past Saturday, that they couldn't afford to allow us to have the shows in there.
Which wasn't arrest. They just put a guy in handcuffs. Now the number's 20 minutes and let him go, and he went back into the show.
Exactly. So now it's a matter of, trying to convince HEB to either, allow us to have a show in there again, or trying to find a new location with, 20 or 19 days, 20 days to go before our next show.
So you capitulate to the arm twisting, post it, but then stand up and say we're going to do a petition to the Attorney General because local governments can't just make up imaginary things without laws. Now, you got a call from HEB this morning. Tell us who called you.
Yeah, it was a lady named Natalie. She called from HEB there in Austin and wanted to know why. She said that what she heard was I said that HEB agreed to do stings, agreed with the Austin PD and the ATF to do stings in my gun show, which is absolutely not true. I would never agree to such a thing. And she said that people are wanting to start an anti-HEB, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Anti-HEB campaign. And she asked me why I would do that, and I said, well, it's not me. And then I said it was the representative that you sent, that HEB sent to this meeting, saying that basically when he folded, he looked at me, and he was the only one there with power of authority to allow me not to have a show, that I had to follow these recommendations or there'd be no show. I go, that was on him and his choice, and that's why this stuff is happening to HEB. It has nothing to do with me. And she said, well, we would at least appreciate a phone call or something like that before you went on the radio. And I told her, well, I would appreciate a phone call or a heads up before they invited me into a meeting the day before the show.
But see how they're making it that you're bad? I'm surprised they don't just say it's a conspiracy theory and the gun show never even existed. And Grandpa says there used to be a gun show there, and the kids laugh and say, Grandpa says people used to own guns. That's the attitude that they have. They shut down your business. They unlawfully come in, order HEB to do this. You were at the meeting. And now it's clear that they've intimidated them into just getting rid of your contract. This is outrageous. And then you're the bad guy, and we hadn't even made HEB the bad guy in all this.
I know, and that's what I tried to explain to her. I said, if you listen to the interview that I had with you yesterday, never once did I say HEB was the bad guy.
And neither did I, but here's the issue. They can't say the police are wrong. They can't say it's wrong that they just came in like thugs and made all this up and made your leaseholder. I mean, you know what happens if I go to a business and talk to a leaseholder and make them lose their lease? I can be sued up one side and down the other. I mean, what other businesses will the police come in and take over? I'll tell you. In Seattle, it's a major scandal that in some areas of the city, more than half of the bars are owned by police because they would go in and run stings of selling their own agent drugs and then asset forfeiture seize the bar or restaurant and then keep it for themselves. I mean, this is I guess we're going the Chicago, Seattle model.
Yeah, the good news out of all this is since the show yesterday, I've received tons of emails, people saying that they couldn't make it to the show, but they would support us anyway. You know, even if they bought complimentary tickets or something online just to show their support. So, I mean, that's a good feeling knowing that there's so many people out there that...
And you're going to try to get into another venue, but let's not talk about that right now, or the cops will run and try to defame you and destroy you there. I mean, they're getting deeper into trouble. And if I know these Austin police, they're going to savagely attack now. I mean, I could be raided any minute with setups or whatever, because they are the mafia. They rule. End of the story. But I mean, these people are dangerous. But I mean, they're lawless. But continue.
Well, yeah, and basically, I try to explain to her. She said that it was unfair for me to have a boycott set up against HEB because. So
she wouldn't even listen to you. You explained to her, but still, you are the bad one. Not the police starting all this, not the feds ordering it. You are the bad one as the victim.
Exactly.
Because she cannot say the government's bad because it is God.
Yeah, and I try to. She goes, well, normally I have these meetings face to face. And I told her I'd be more than willing to set up a meeting with her face-to-face, but I wouldn't be there alone this time like the first meeting I had. So that's basically where it ended.
Well, what's the answer here? I mean, should we have people, I guess, contact the main line for HEB, the toll-free number?
I think the best course of action would be to get in contact with Brett Baker, the gentleman that supposedly headed the meeting to get us, you know, to not allow us to have a show anymore, and persuade him to. The best course of action would to be allow us to still do the show as scheduled in that building. Well, do you understand it's illegal for police outside of the law to come into people's businesses and get them shut down with their leaseholders? Absolutely. I mean, they're not. This is a serious mafia crime they've committed, but to them, they just think it's funny. Yeah, they think they're doing something right, I guess, on their end. But yeah, because they can't get the legislature to pass a law, so they'll just shut it down because they're God. And you know, the ironic thing is the arrests they have made at other gun shows. They've made those arrests because there was a gun show going on, because they actually knew where the people would be. Unlike if there was no show, they'd be buying them in an alley somewhere, and they'd have no idea where it was going on. And gun shows have been over backwards where the cops don't even ask. They just wander into the back door, do whatever they want. Not good enough. Mission completed. Gun show shut down after close to 20 years. Now, I mean, is HEB making noises about letting you do your show? Well, no. We got off the phone. I told her I would meet with them. But I think I'm under the understanding that if enough people call them, and you know, say basically, she told me that from the other show that was in there, they got so many complaints from the residents around that area that they didn't think it was. Again, it's like Nazi Germany. They said, well, then everybody's complaining about Jewish neighborhoods. We've got to relocate you. You know, the German people don't like you here. That was the excuse. Oh, neighborhoods a mile from here, they get scared seeing people in parking lots, constant 911 calls because people drive by and see people walking into a gun show with a giant gun show sign. And there's so many people that moved in here from the few cities that have banned guns that they think it's illegal. So because a bunch of idiots don't know about the Second Amendment, we have to end the Second Amendment because idiots are scared of it. Exactly. And then she told me over the phone, she goes, when did HEB become anti-gun? I said, as soon as you sent somebody to a meeting that crumbled under the pressure from the APD and the ATF, and then had us kick out because of it. Well, it's the ATF. It's the ATF and the police are the real culprits. And I'm not even making HEB because they're not the villain here. They're just the wimps. But at the same time, them trying to say you are the villain, now they start to become the villain when you're the victim. And it's clear that this is a precedent-setting case to let the feds and the police behind closed doors shut down gun shows with no law, no nothing. This is outrageous. I think the best course of action would be to have everybody call, Brett Baker at HEB, and so he can see just how many people do want to have the show there. Here's the number. 800-432-3113. 800-432-3113. 800-432-3113. And you can also go to HEB.com, email them there, and let them know that for the next few months,